Hi, welcome to Full Crazy Town, number four book, Full Crazy Town. To blame, right? Our predicament. It's not my fault. The blame game. Mostly, I find, you know, stand in line, small talk, walking the dog and less. Grr. Number two, immigrants. Grr. Or immigrants or poor people. No, just blame, 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 blame. And today I was walking the dog, and there's a couple homeless guys that hang out in this huge park where I walk the pup. And, typically I just kind of keep it light, keep it moving, got to walk the dog, can't stop, rant, rave, foam from the mouth. But when I hear people start to do the blame game, I got to jump in and say, hey, man, desperate people do desperate things. But these guys, one of them kind of long time homeless, maybe 50 or maybe 30, looks like 50. The other guy, nice clothes, tall, good looking, former med tech guy. I don't know exactly what, but had student debt. I think he had his wages garnished and lost his job, lost his home, lost everything except uh, being friends with this other homeless guy. So they tend to just kind of go back and forth off each other and, blame game, blame, blame, blame. I come back with about desperate people doing desperate things and that they're addicted and they can't help it. And both of them overcame addiction. Of course, why wrong with these losers? Well, I come back with congratulations on your resolve. Way to overcome your addiction. I did the same thing. Used to smoke cigarettes, quit. Used to binge drink every day, quit. I still drink on special occasions. And incidentally, like now, I'm uh, I'm watching the pup again. You'll notice I'm in my different place than my man cave, and I've run the beans out of this pup. Three good long walks. The middle one was when I was in the big park talking to the homeless guys. Anyway, I just want to kind of go on. Today, I'm countering the blame game with two homeless guys. Usually, it's people I meet in the dog parks. Today, it was two guys, one longtime homeless dude and a recently homeless guy, ex med tech of some sort, with student debt, garnished wages, uh, fairly respectable looking at nice clothes, just well groomed. However, both were dressing down the people with addictions. Both were able to overcome their addictions, but now unable to forgive those not as strong as them. So that's a big deal. It's almost as hard to pull those people out of their quagmire of thought as it is just a person standing in line. "Ah, those homeless people broke into my garage, stole my lawnmower." And I come back with so they could sell it, so they could get something to eat. And if they got caught stealing, then they go to jail for a couple days or something. Three hots and a cot. Ka-ching! Not hungry anymore. Never mind that you have the 15th uh, citation for a felony first degree theft. Can't get a job, can't get out of the homeless cycle, can't get off your addictive subs, can't get any health care, can't. Anyway, um, I have a better theme for today. I have a basic philosophy of life that my dog, Cardi B, Cardi C, Her name is Cardi C, not Cardi B, and the C stands for Coco. So here we go with that. Um, the my basic philosophy of life is similar to dogs, not just Cardi B, Cardi C, but dogs' philosophy of life. Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. If you can, you need those three hots and a cot. You need a roof, some food, and a companionship or something, clothes. If you can, are your basic needs met? That's cause for celebration every day. As some dogs, this one in particular is completely well taken care of. My daughter is off in Arizona with her high school friend and family um, for a week while the kids are out of school. So I'm watching the pup. But if anybody saw the Pixar movie Coco, where you have Dios de los Muertos uh, featured, Day of the Dead in Mexico. I mean, Coco, the movie, Pixar movie, has great message, great music. And it's all about dogs going over the Rainbow Bridge. When they pass on, they just go over the Rainbow Bridge. And when it's our turn to go over the Rainbow Bridge, guess who's waiting right there on the other side? Our favorite doggies from all time, back 20, 30, 50, 75 years. And then they take us to our friends and family who have died before us, and everybody is now. Isn't that a good explanation? I mean, a lot of people think, oh no, it's Jesus and God up in heaven on the throne, and Saint Peter at the Golden Gate. You just tell them you got to wait, and you got to have another cigarette. None of that crap. Hey, who wants to believe that? Not me. Anyway, anyone have a better idea for life? I mean, life is real, right? It's happening, right? Look, left, right, up, down, back, forth. Um, uh, I think that the Rainbow Bridge is just about as good an explanation as any. It's what I can get behind that. What's wrong with you? Nah, 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 nah. I don't want to believe that. I'm more of a positive person. And there's a lot of explanations. I know I've quoted Cat Williams a lot in the past, but he says the pyramids could not have been built using technologies available at that time. So it was either advanced civilizations here, like Atlantis, or advanced civilizations out in space coming here and teaching or doing it themselves and setting it up and helping people rise up from just subsistence level existence into more evolved highly refined ways of life. Anyway, does anyone have a good reason for not believing this narrative, this explanation for this phenomenon, also known as life? You got to admit, selfish. And some selfish people refuse to recognize a higher power. Well, I mean, you look around, what created this? Did you? Did I? No. But people who won't recognize a higher power tend to think that they are the higher power. And that's when I got into last week talking about Bill Bryson's explanation for how we all got to this point. Going back billions of years, all of our pertinent relatives were not squashed, killed, bumped off, otherwise diverted from delivering the little package of sperm to a little and the little and uniquely, perfectly entirely you. True. It's me. I'm going to get what's mine. I'm going to take it. Wealth and but anyway, in my book, I go on and on. Why is it so hard to try to do good? The dog replies, it's not hard. You're doing the best you can, and that's all anyone can do. So, anyway, dog philosophy, huh? What the heck? Oh, I got a whole bunch of things I wrote down. I'm not going to get into that now. I do want to kind of reiterate about the J. Fletcher Prouty, the ex-CIA agent, was talking about the JFK shooting back in the 60s. And I know I've said this before, but it's worth saying again. I mean, that assassination has demonstrated that most of the major events of world significance are masterfully planned and orchestrated by an elite coterie of enormously powerful people who are not of one nation, not of one ethnic group, or of one overridingly important business group. They are a power unto themselves, for whom these others work. Get it? The nations, the ethnic groups, the business, they all work for this enormously powerful people. Neither is the power elite of recent origin. Its roots go deep into the past. And that's where the Illuminati and the Knights Templar and the Freemasons and the secret societies here, there, hither, yon, Club of Rome, World Economic Forum, Bohemian Grove. There's been literally thousands of them. And they almost all say the same. We want to, is that it used to be, remember Noam Chomsky's manufactured consent? Oh, yeah, well, we hear it on the news. So, yeah, we'll just give the CIA and the FBI a chance to do whatever they want because Obama said so. Now, it's not just manufactured consent, it's manufactured content. What kind of content? Absolute chaos. Every day, the narrative du jour is either an update on yesterday's narrative du jour or it's a new narrative du jour. What kind of du jour? Well, just in the last couple weeks, boom, CEO shooting. Oh, now we have the narrative about healthcare finally. But what if it's manufactured? You don't want people to talk. You should talk about it. We're not getting healthcare. We're just talking and arguing and bitching about it. And if this is a carefully orchestrated event like Kyle Rittenhouse or Pelosi's husband or any of the major narratives of the last 10 years, I don't know what I was going to say. It's just the way it is. So it's either an update on yesterday's narrative du jour or a new du jour de narrative. CEO shooting, the drones. Remember, shortly thereafter, no, it's no, not that. It's this, not that. No, it's not. How about setting people on fire in the subway? First, there was a woman, carefully orchestrated. Look at the guy, woman probably passed out, probably addicted, probably drunk. And so he, sprays lighter fluid all and then touches her off. And then he's there with his shirt fanning the flames. Carefully orchestrated event for maximum chaos. And then a guy. Oh, first the woman set on fire. Now it's a guy set on fire. Could be you tomorrow. Could be. You better fear and be careful and take precautions. Blame the homeless. Yeah. Spirituality can come from within without any help from the church. Now, this is basically what the Knights Templar thought, and it helped them grow from, a troop or a cavalry of crusaders trying to take back the Holy Land to growing to be a government, a ruling body, a nation state uh, within themselves. Uh, but they thought that divine knowledge didn't have to come from the church. The Pope, although they took money from the Pope, they didn't really say this out loud, but they practiced it, and they kind of told all their friends and family all about divine knowledge is accessible from within. Knights Templar believed in Gnosticism, and they idolized John the Baptist, who they say initiated Jesus Christus, into the Gnostic faith in the Great Pyramid. Remember, Cat Williams. Uh, Jesus represented Christos, which was at the time a universal consciousness that anyone could access, similar to what the Buddha said about enlightenment, illuminate. You get the picture. They said uh, being born again. God, I can't even write stuff. Being born again didn't refer to baptism like the way John the Baptist was. Oh yeah, he's all about baptism. No, he wasn't. He's about Gnostics and divine knowledge. They said being born again didn't refer to baptism, but reincarnation. See, more like the Buddha. Um, John the Baptist and the Templars hid the bones of Jesus, Mary, and their kids in England, which you can imagine would have blown the Catholic Church out of the water. So they had to keep that quiet. They're still taking money from the Pope on a yearly basis for like 200 years. But they grew. They took the money. They kept the bones quiet. They grew in size and power over 200 years and set up commanderies. What were commanderies? Commanderies were way stations, places of refuge for pilgrims. They were able to deposit money, gold, get a banknote, and then redeem their note or gold at a different commandery and then at a different place. So over time, the Templars formed their own regional government, replete with armies, navies, merchants, farmers, traders, builders, etc. Everything you need. It was a multinational company. And I know in my book, I said that the East India Tea Company from Great Britain was the first international corporation. But actually, when you look right at it, these guys predated the East India Company by a couple hundred years. So it took them 200 years to get there. By 1300, they were starting to get to be too powerful, but England was learning from like, hey, we need kind of a government or a body of power out there in the East, you know, Western Asia, Middle Asia, the Opium Wars in China. We need to take over the world. Dominionism. We shall have dominion over all things. But King Philip of France borrowed money from the Knights Templar, and in 1307 he needed more money for another war, and instead of borrowing it, he took it. You had at the time Pope Clement V, old friend of Phil. He arrested Jacques de Molay, the Grand Master of the Knights Templar, and 100 other high ranking Templars. Now, that still left 10,000 or so Templars and their families and friends and ancestors and acquaintances. The Vatican archives describe dozens of ships sailing off with Templar money, militias, and secrets to various new outposts around the world where they could continue with lower profiles. The Masons trace their origin back to Nova Scotia. And I was listening to this guy is on YouTube who talks about the current Grand Master has all these secrets, plan on revealing the secrets at some time in the future to help all my blah 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 blah. You know, talk. It's sort of like what everybody says about Trump's second term. Oh, he's going to do this. He's going to do that. You bet. Hey, zip it. We'll see. Stop talking about it. You're just showing how ignorant you are. I know I talked about some of this stuff, but a lot of it bears repeating because it's coming to a head now. This whole Syrian switcheroo, another NATO regime change. It bears repeating that the Zionists want everybody to blame the Jews for the turmoil in the Middle East. And Bibi Netanyahu never been stronger. He was teetering on the verge of total condemnation and just maybe a collapse in the economy. Now, the economy is still weak, but as long as the United States is funneling billions, it's like Ukraine. As long as you prop them up, they're going to weaken Russia so Russia can't go into Syria like it did in 2011 and bail out Assad and fight al-Nusra and Al-Qaeda and boy. But anyway, dominionism favors the destruction of all governments and religions. So the Zionists just want they want to just prop Netanyahu up more so that he can be blamed. And that's just the way it is. And it's like what Chris Hedges said about the difference between capitalists and oligarchs. The capitalists want to keep the music going, keep the dance happening, and keep the money coming in. The oligarchs want to destroy society, destroy all societies, so they can just swoop in, pick up the pieces for pennies on the dollar, just like they have been doing ever since who was it? The Powell memo? Was that it? No, I forget who. But the 7 countries in 5 years that was supposed to occur right after 9/11. But the 7 countries, and I know I've said them before. I keep trying to say them so I don't forget. but you had Afghanistan, um, Iraq, Somalia, Sudan, Libya, 6, Lebanon, 7, not yet, but the other 6, Iran. So dominionism wants to destroy all governments and religions, swoop in, pick up the pieces, pennies on the dollar. Armed militias move in. That's sort of like your Eric Prince's Blackwater and all these other, like the Syrian Free Army that was fronted with $1 billion loan that got their soldiers $200 a month, compared to Assad soldiers $7 a month. Do the math, figure out who's going to win that one. Then you had carefully orchestrated events. I know I got into talking about chaos for the oligarchs and capitalism for those who just want to keep the music going. But the chaos, a big part of this is Hollywood. All of the LGBTQ craziness that's been going on really ever since Obama. Ever since Obama came in, black people and women and race and gender. The most important thing. Don't look at the man behind the curtain, the Wizard of Oz. But with Hollywood especially, you had the hippies being downgraded with the Charles Manson murders, and Manson was one of these MK Ultra projects where you just wanted to brand all hippies as drug addicts wanting to cause chaos and start a race war and just race, gender, Sharon Tate, the hippies, the murder, the everything, right down to the Diddy level here recently. And leading up to the Diddy level was the Epstein, Robert Maxwell. I hate to say certain words because I really think that I could get censored in a trice for saying certain organizations or words. But Epstein just really showed how the ruling class wants to enslave everybody. They're not out to kill us. They want to keep us sick and paying into the healthcare system and not having insurance and paying into all these other systems, for real estate, for cars, for, land, or just, high interest rates. The WEF's goal of for humanity, taking the 8 billion people down to 1 billion and telling them, you will own nothing and be happy. You will owe money and be happy. I wrote down about whenever I hear somebody say in response, they get asked about a question or, kind of more deeper analysis than just, oh, don't you know how serious this is? But when I hear, and really the dudes, Keaton and Russell are two of the best at deep analysis. I have a little bit of a problem with this person, that person, and the other for this reason, that, but I don't want to talk about that. I'd like to talk about Keaton and Russell. And when I hear somebody say, and both Keaton and Russell have done this, they get One will say one thing, and then when it comes to the other guy's turn, they'll start off by going, "Yeah, no." I just love that. It doesn't mean indecision, it means it's complicated and that you need to go, "Yeah, this is true. No, we shouldn't believe that narrative. Yes, we should be thinking deeper, deeper, deeper about this, that, and the other." Uh, I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know. Let me look. I wrote down a bunch of stuff, but I can't remember if I said it last week or if I will say it next week. Um, I mentioned the Cash for Kids, the judges in Pennsylvania, and that gets down to the narrative about enslavement of society. They're not out to kill us, they're out to enslave us. We will just pay into the system for our resources. They don't, they just confiscate, they use resources to enrich themselves, to make themselves more powerful. But through sex trafficking, it gets into the darker occult ritual sacrifice that I really hate to talk about because then we get into the old speak of the devil and he shall appear, and I really don't like talking about crap like that, but I think it is important for everybody to keep it in the back of your mind so that you're always on the sunny side and not, "No, yeah, we're being screwed by these evil immigrants and poor people and rah, 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 rah." So yeah, the enslavement in many, many, many enslavement of the mind, the body, the soul, the spirit, enslavement in many different ways of looking at it. Uh, yeah. So we had like the permanent state, the permanent class of people, the cool kids lunch table. I saw somebody write about that. In my book, I talk about that as being everybody's goal. Everybody wants to sit at the cool kids lunch table in the middle school cafeteria at lunchtime. But somebody else just described it as CKLT, cool kids lunch table. Bingo. Um, what happened? Oh, and this was a cool kid. He was at a party. Should have gotten off with a warning about underage drinking. Sent to a prison facility for 8 months. Came out angry, bitter, suicidal, hated everything and everybody, wouldn't make eye contact. Used to be a happy, confident, friendly kid on the wrestling team. Um, the prison industrial complex, slavery. Um, in Alabama, that's the worst state. The worst state for the prison industrial complex is Alabama, where Alabama only paroles 8% of eligible prisoners. Prisoners who are too dangerous for parole are okay to work 40 hours a week, no money, and then they're allowed to go home on the weekend, no supervision. You just better come back for the next 40-hour shift. Alabama. And it's not the only one by any means. I think, when they say they only parole 8% of the eligible prisoners, the other, I know the states in the South are the worst. So, your Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, Texas. Uh, Prisoners too dangerous to parole are just fine for enslavement. What? Oh, here we go. So, what did I have? For some reason, I just jumped. A lot of times I'm listening to somebody talk, and I'll just and somebody's talking about CIA led feminism. Um, Guys who say they're for feminists, they are feminists, they're for feminism. Um, they say that, most of them, who really, virtue signaling, I'm a feminist. What they're saying is, I want the old lady to do the heavy lifting. I'm just going to shoot my mouth off and sit at home and drink beer and watch TV and walk the dog. So they want the women to do the hefty lifting while they are the virtue signalers. Why do I call it CIA led feminism? Because Gloria Steinem was a CIA asset, not an agent, but she was like Charles Manson. She was an asset for MK Ultra, a CIA led front. So the idea, what a glorious stuff. Women, go to work. Don't have kids until you're financially, and you'll never be financially secure. And then, do this. I'm trying to empower you. The men are the problem. The system is the problem. You have to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. Don't be organizing. Don't be trying to come together and make things better on your own, chickie baby. So being a secretary is more important than raising the next generation. Nobody's raising the next generation. We're having too many unwanted children. What could that lead to? Destruction of the family unit, chaos, crime, criminals booked and released, allegiance to a group, not uh, not an organized group to make things better, but a group to identify with, and so you don't have to have any personal responsibility. You can pledge allegiance, bend the knee, pledge your fealty to identity politics. And then that means you can do anything you want. Anybody criticizes you, you just tell the leader, he criticized me, take him down, cancel him, no job, no influence, no this, no that. Allegiance to the group, no personal responsibility for the individual. What the heck? Illuminati, free secret societies, World Economic Forum, take the population down from 8 billion to 1 billion. How? By any means necessary. Isn't that what the CIA learned, the FBI learned from Malcolm X? By any means necessary? Yeah, good idea. 8 bill to 1 bill, disease, poverty, destruction of the family unit, control the food, control this, control that, total control. Yeah. How much time I got? I did want to read something by, let me just see if I can't wrap this up. I did want to read something from Matt Taibbi, just kind of a side storyline. A lot of times I write stuff, oh yeah, I'll remember this when it comes time to read it. And then here I am, I'm live. What the hell am I talking about? I'll just read it and see if maybe it jogs something. I was talking about Disney, #1 company for pink washing, where they promote LGBTQIA++ issues to increase sales. and to cover up labor issues. What kind of labor issues? Well, there's the $233 million settlement for Anaheim workers, 50,000, tens of thousands. So, like they just almost everybody says, and the dudes talk about it. Disney is reportedly the worst company to work for, the most oppressive, the most cheat you out of what you deserve. Bob Iger bought the Star Wars franchise, the what did that mean? Oh, Pixar franchise, pop culture um, companies, Marvel um, franchise. So all these popular cultures, see, culture, not economics, our most beloved cultural myths. Then they advance social issues whilst playing down their labor practices. Um, Gay content was being added to every new release for a decade, and sales went down. People just got tired of it. Um, Disney, wait a minute. Also, Disney engaged in fan baiting. What's fan baiting? Well, when they put out these new movies and they have all these moral issues, LGBTQ, women, black people, people of color, they're the most important thing. And if you're not one of those, then you're the problem. But if you're not going to their movies, then fan blaming, what do I call it? Baiting? Dang it, what happened to it? Uh, the fans were blamed. Disney accused their would-be audiences of racism, sexism, anti-gay, anti-trans, anti-whatever. For instance, back in May, Disney called out racist fans who wouldn't go to their they were trying to support the Star Wars actress Moses Ingram. Um, the fans didn't like the movie. I forget. I guess that was the latest Star Wars, and in fact, all the last two or three, 5 or 10, Disney just been putting them out, Message, LGBTQIA, race and culture. And so they were calling, and the fans didn't show up. And so Disney called their fans racist because they wouldn't support Star Wars actress Moses Ingram. Especially useful if the movie is bad, getting bad reviews, low intake at the gate. Recently, Disney cuts the trans storyline from Pixar's Win or Lose series. And they had a statement. Why did we? Oh, something against the trans community? How could we be so insensitive? What? There must be an explanation. And Disney has an explanation to counteract the billions, tens of billions. I think it's up to hundreds of billions of dollars of losses over the last 10 years. They have an explanation. They said many parents prefer to discuss certain subjects on their own terms. They don't want Disney telling the kids what to think, what to do, how to behave, how to structure their life. What has Disney been doing? Well, they remade Mulan into a just another girl boss. All these girl bosses, that's the ticket. But uh, you know, they're trying to empower all women and while championing diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'd say that Disney is more for special rights than equal rights. This diversity, equity, no, diversity, special equity and inclusion, special diversity, not just, you know, not just any old DEI. Anyway, they champion more for special rights than equal rights for all. If they championed equal rights for all, that would have to include white men, right? Equal rights for all. You can't just say all and say except men. Then there are no special rights. Get it? Special rights. Um, so in the past, the DEI, ESG uh, um, requirements set a percentage of diversity that was required in the workforce, especially middle management, where they're over a large number of workforce and they're making decisions about the company and the future based on DEI, ESG, not on what might sell, what people want to see, or what people might pay money to see. The idea is to do all this DEI, ESG stuff and then blame the audience if they don't go as being racist or sexist or LGBTQIA. Um, so besides the practices like with Mulan, Disney had underpaid 50,000 workers. They were also subsidizing local luxury hotels so they could pay their workers $15 an hour. See, that's what happened in, I think, Anaheim and Orlando, but this was mainly about Anaheim. Um, it was required, oh, yeah, by the passage of Measure L in California in 2018 that you had to pay those workers $15 an hour. But what workers? Not just the Disney workers, luxury hotels, restaurants, service industries for Orlando and Anaheim, and that Disney was using their millions, billions, and over time, trillions to subsidize these hotels, restaurants, and service businesses so they could pay $15 an hour and not hurt their bottom line. But once Disney's bottom line started to bottom out, that's when they said, that was a great line. Many parents would prefer to discuss certain subjects on their own terms. So anyway, the turn of the screw, the um, amazing. Uh, uh, I'm not saying it's a tidal wave yet, but the turn. And here's part of what kind of goes along with this. Matt Taibbi talks about Ketanji Brown Jackson goes Broadway. Why choose tragic love when self aggrandizement is still an option? The Supreme Court justice acts out the answer in a cheery agitprop romp. Um, I get half of my new vocabulary words from Matt. He's a real gem. From NPR today, National Public Radio. Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson made her Broadway debut this weekend. This just from a week ago or two. She also made history as the first member of the nation's highest court to grace its storied stage, according to the production that invited her. Jackson appeared in a one night only walk on role on Saturday night in the Tony nominated romantic comedy, the rom com. Oh boy, is that ever the favorite genre? And the Tony nominated rom com musical And Juliet. So I'm not really sure where. Oh, yeah. Okay. And Juliet was the Tony nominated rom com. That's in quotes. And Juliet, in quotes, close quotes. A modern take on Shakespeare's tragedy that imagines what would have happened if the female protagonist survived and took control of her own life. Yay, Juliet! Pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, baby. You've come a long way, baby. Remember what that was about? If you're older, you remember Virginia Slims was the campaign for if you smoked Virginia Slims, that shows that you've come a long way, baby, into being a self-realized person. If you've been on social media today, you've probably seen the clip, and Matt includes the clip of Justice Brown Jackson. In the above clip, looks like she's just having fun. Who can hate that? Everybody wants to have fun. Girls just want to have fun. If I reached the high court, I'd ask to play drums for Weird Al. Matt's hilarious. I certainly can't hate a gay Romeo and Juliet. It's Broadway, after all, even a trans one. As Kurt Vonnegut once said about critics, it'd be like putting on a suit of armor to attack a hot fudge sundae. Why bother? See, analysis. Do Dissadudes, Matt, Glenn Greenwald, man, they've got the analytical. Jimmy Dore, excellent. Kurt Metzger. But the clip didn't tell us much about the context, key word, context of Brown Jackson's lines. So I looked it up. Oh my God! If Paul Pot spoofed Jesus Christ Superstar, it wouldn't reach this universe of unintentional comedy. And Juliet is the ultimate in woke art, a campy satire where the cast spends. I don't know if that's a typo. A campy satire where the cast spends 2.5 hours leaping in costumed joy while they retroactively cancel that infamous heteronormative icon, William Shakespeare. We're coming down to about the 2-minute warning here. Matt likes pro football, and I've actually got the red zone up. I'm at my daughter's place. She gets the red zone, and it shows all no commercials, all the big plays of the day. But that's not the main event by any means. Main event actually is coming up in 2 minutes. The Dissadudes coming on, Keaton and Russ. In-depth analysis, helping us to understand how we got to this point. Maybe not so much what we can do about it. I think that comes up to everybody's individual idea for things, what to do about it. In my book, I call it Reconnect Over Coffee, where we try to reconnect with those from whom we've become estranged. In my case, friends, family, acquaintances, everybody. I'm a basic pariah here in the land of shit liberty, Eugene, Oregon. California notwithstanding, I think we maybe have more shit libs per capita than California. We have more homeless per capita. So I think we have more shit libs too. But stay tuned for these guys. They are inspirations for us all. Thank you for tuning in, anybody who gives a shittery about the mayor of Full Crazy Town. Remember dog philosophy. No matter what happens, your dogs, your friends, your besties are waiting for you, the ones who have already died on the other side of the Rainbow Bridge. And that's a belief system worth thinking about, believing in. Stick with it. Don't let any of these naysayers, shitheads, shit libs pull you off target. Have fun. Do your best. Be compassionate, not selfish. Thanks. Bye.